versus SQL. So today I'll talk about kind of an overview of NoSQL versus SQL, the differences between them, is one better than the other, kind of what companies use them, and differences between them and comparable statistics. So what exactly is a database? Well, a database is just kind of a structure designed to handle data. So there's two major types, as I said. There's NoSQL and SQL. And a database determines the way the data is stored and how it's retrieved and used. So SQL is also called a relational database, and it's table-based, which means that all of the data that goes into a SQL database is in a chart or a graph, much like an Excel spreadsheet. And this way you're able to manipulate and edit the data that you enter. So SQL offers a support system. So what this means is kind of like customer service. So if something happens on your database or something goes wrong, you're able to contact your vendor that you bought the SQL database through, and they're able to provide support and customer service and help you attain the better database. This type of data is generally used for transactions, and because of that, it's built for a high complexity of data. NoSQL is called non-relational database, and it's document-based instead of the spreadsheet-based that I explained SQL was. So this focuses on the collection and storage of documents, and unlike SQL, it has to rely on a community support. So whenever something goes wrong with NoSQL, you can't contact the vendor or anyone. You have to rely on other people that use NoSQL to know how to help you with your problem. So NoSQL is not built for transaction data, which means it's used for less complex data, but it's used for large amounts of data. So NoSQL holds huge amounts of data. It's just a mass amount of documents and any type of storage that you need. And NoSQL makes it available to have more than just one server. So the general difference between the two, SQL allows you to access certain programs and it's more reliable, but it's also more restricted in what you can use it for. Whereas NoSQL allows it to freedom for you to roam and do and create whatever type of document you want. As far as support, you don't get as much, but it's structured for kind of a day-to-day basis. NoSQL doesn't conform to just one type of operation, and data is kind of lumped together and kept together, whereas SQL, it strictly is the spreadsheet type of transaction numbers database where it kind of limits your ability to creatively and flexibly make different types of data. So this is just kind of a visual representation of some of the different types of differences between SQL and non-SQL. And MongoDB is actually just a kind of a common type of NoSQL. So on the left, the SQL says that it's database, and tables, rows, and columns. Whereas MongoDB, which is a non-SQL database, it's collections and documents and fields of data. And again, this is just a visual representation of how RDBMS is a SQL database, where NoSQL kind of the differences in how it works. So NoSQL is more flexible and it's faster and it's emerging and it's kind of the up and coming thing, whereas SQL is kind of the trusted, mature, stable, supportive kind of use of database. So this is just differences in who uses what. So the SQL users are on the right, which the big ones would be Microsoft SQL, MySQL, and Oracle. And the non-SQL are on the left. So MongoDB, as I said, is actually a very big NoSQL database. So MongoDB prides itself on being fast and flexible, and it promotes the use of mini servers. Redis is actually another type of NoSQL database, and it's very, very fast, and they're working on improving their data structure so that customers have an easier time using it. Oracle is an example of SQL, and it's easy to navigate, and it has a wide support system. So they pride themselves on kind of customer service, and if anything goes wrong, Oracle's able to sweep in there and help fix your SQL database, which makes it very reliable. MySQL is very cost effective. It uses open source, which means that it's free, and it's a mature type of SQL database. So they've been around for a long time, they know what they're doing, and they're very successful with that. So in conclusion, I kind of went over the two different types of databases, SQL and non-SQL, and users kind of determine which one you think is better. So if you're looking for a transaction and you're looking for a spreadsheet, maybe SQL is what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a document storage or you have a large amount of data that you need to store, maybe NoSQL is for you. Both are very successful in different things, and therefore one is not determined to be, quote, better than the other. SQL is mature. It's been around for a very long time. It's counted on for transactions, and it uses spreadsheets to store that data, and it offers a wide variety of support for customers. Whereas NoSQL uses documents, you're able to use multiple servers, and you can rely on your community and peers for help with that of problems. But with that comes the fast speed of how to use the database and the flexibility of being able to do what you want. So this just kind of gave a general overview of non-SQL and SQL.